The Chief, 00, Robert Parrish. And of course, the man from the Bulls, Michael Jordan.
On the East Coast and played in Boston for 4 years for New York.
Let's get to the starting lineups. We'll come back to that in a second. Horace Grant, Scottie Pippen, of course, the forwards, and Big Bill Cartwright, 7'1", the center. And let's see if we move straight over. Phil Jackson, coach of the Bulls, done a tremendous job. Really knows how to get the best out of Michael. And for the Celtics, Brian Shaw and Reggie Lewis. Shaw having a tremendous season. The legend Larry Bird and the new boy Kevin Gamble doing a good job. And of course, the Chief himself, Robert Parrish. Let's go over, join our American commentators as we see the Celtics coach, Chris Ford.
Says at times he will be measured by only one standard, that is making it out of the Eastern Conference to the NBA Final. They have been knocked out of it the past 2 years by Detroit. The officials, Mike Mathis, Joe Forte, and Ed Rush. And Brian Shaw controls for the Celtics. Boston Friday night here at home beat Cleveland to clinch the Atlantic Division crown. They had some problems with the Cavs, despite the fact Brad Daugherty was out of action. And Kevin Gamble, who has not been getting his shots, according to Chris Ford, is able to give Boston a 2-0 lead.
And speculation on why the shots haven't come his way. One reason being, Don Case, the assistant, mentioned, we just haven't been running as much, therefore not getting as many open shots in transition.
An open jumper for Jordan. Boston shooting has been off. They lead the NBA at 52% from the field. Bird going to the left hand, rebounded by Pippen. Scottie Pippen off the hesitation dribble, and Parrish controls the ball. Shaw able to elude Paxson.
Excellent penetration that time. The wings actually pushed out defensively for Chicago, opened the lane to the basket, and kept his dribble alive, made the hoop.
Boston starting out with Reggie Lewis against Michael Jordan. Parrish getting the box out on Cartwright. Jordan has had a number of big games against Lewis, and Lewis has also turned the trick on Jordan. Gamble opening up by hitting his first two, and Boston out to a 6-2 lead.
People misinterpret the fact that he's shooting over 59%, think they're all layups. This guy knocks out open jump shots.
And usually takes good shots. Cartwright hit on a reach-in by Parrish. We're talking with Parrish yesterday about the matchup with Bill Cartwright, and he says he has to jump out on Cartwright early, try to push him around, get physical.
Yeah, he felt being physical was very important because that's one of the things Cartwright does, is Paxson knocks out a jumper, having a terrific year shooting the basketball from the floor right now.
Yes, he's at 55% from the field. Boston with a 6-4 lead. Lewis using the pick. Chicago Bulls lead the Central Division by 9 games over Detroit. Friday night, they beat the Bullets in Landover, 112-94. They've won 11 of the last 13, and a hard shooting start by both teams. Horace Grant, who's having a superb season, able to hit his first, and the game tied at 6.
You have two teams who make a lot of open shots, basically because they take good ones.
Bird gets it back out. Here's Shaw. Paxson and Jordan at the guards. Cartwright, Pippen, and Grant up front. We're just underway at the Boston Garden. Grant try to go cross court.
Starts out as a passer, feeder first, then scorer afterwards.
There's Jordan. And Grant stopped. Knocked out of bounds. It will be Chicago ball with 14 on the 24.
Good job by the Celtics closing off that lane area, the paint area. Once Jordan gets down low, they're coming after him, just kind of seal off that area with a lot of white shirts.
Now Pippen off the double team. Scottie Pippen giving the Bulls an 8-6 lead. was talking about this on Showtime with Pat Riley. Got into a brief discussion about the so-called mystique here in Boston as Robert Parrish ties the game at 8. Very quiet crowd here at Boston Garden this season. They'll get into it in spurts, and they're quiet here at the start.
Part of the reason may be that the Celtics no longer shoot nearly as many three-point attempts as they used to. The transition game not quite the same as in past years, or the glory years, as we say.
Reggie Lewis with his first bucket, and the Celtics have a 10-8 lead.
There would be nothing like Ainge, Bird knocking out those three-pointers to excite this crowd along with the fast break baskets.
Cartwright. Yes, and it counts. Bill Cartwright was being pushed off the blocks, but
in the Ewings and the Parishes, Moses Malone, but now going to him a little bit in the beginning, perhaps to try and attack Robert Parrish at this end of the floor.
Bulls by 1. Light pressure by Chicago. Gamble able to get it across, met by Pippen.
One of the things the Celtics worked on yesterday in practice, attacking the full court pressure that they expected from the Bulls today.
Although Phil Jackson says he does not like to use it early in games, we saw light pressure a moment ago. Cartwright on the foul. He said he'd rather save it for the end of games so teams don't adjust to it.
Yeah, that was his man-to-man full court pressure, and you said it, light pressure. In the end, he'll go to the quick double team, step-up rotation looking for steals.
Here's Bird. And rebounded by Jordan. Larry Bird has been struggling, looking to pull out of a slump that has affected him throughout the month of March. Jordan had it deflected. The block by Lewis. Bad pass, and the Bulls get it right back. They have the numbers. Paxson open. Yes.
I spoke with Paxson and Craig Hodges before the game today. I said, you guys are knocking out. He said, hey, when you're standing by yourself so much of the time, it's easy to make open shots. That's our job, he said.
Here's Gamble. He got the step. And the Bulls again look to run. Celtics able to get back. Jordan. Cartwright. Here's Bird. Yes. So Larry Bird with his first field goal after missing his first 2 attempts.
Chris Ford mentioned a good sign is when Bird gets rid of the shot quickly. That time in transition, a quick catch and shoot.
Pippen. Oh, spectacular move by Scottie Pippen. Bulls lead it 15-12. Parrish over Cartwright. Robert Parrish trims it to a 1-point Chicago lead. Here's Jordan. Brett. And the Bulls lead it 17-14. Just under 6 minutes to go in this opening quarter.
One of the statistical categories that the Bulls have dropped is offensive rebounding, but it's because they're making so many of their first shot attempts.
Paxson played Lewis well as Lewis tried to use the height advantage. 2-on-1. Pippen from Jordan. And the Bulls now lead 19-14.
And Jordan got the ball out of his hands without putting it back on the floor. Gamble anticipated he might have a little bit of time, tried to buy a little bit with a fake. Instead, the ball's being laid in the basket.
Chris Ford calling for the timeout. 5:29 remaining. And we'll be back in Boston in a moment.
Type offense these days themselves.
Well, I think you see the young legs in Kevin Gamble and Reggie Lewis and Brian Shaw and D. Brown off the bench. They're trying to alter their game a bit. They have always been the best half-court basketball team in the NBA.
Okay, let's go back to our American commentators.
Games.
Prior to the game, Evansville's Don Mattingly met Larry Bird out of French Lick, Indiana, for the first time. Bird was told that Mattingly was excited about this upcoming meeting. And Bird smiled and said he should be. A lot of people are excited to see me. Very nicely handled by Larry, I think, was kidding. Have won 2 of 3 against Boston this season, and the Bulls won both in blowouts. Here in November by 20, Michael Jordan had a 41-point outing against the Celtics. And in Chicago in February, The Bulls beat the Celtics by 30. The Celtics won in Chicago back in November by 2 on a buzzer beater by Brian Shaw. 6-point lead for the Bulls. Quiet start for Michael Jordan. Only 1 for 4 for 2 points. Here's Bird.
Oh, nice move by Larry Bird off the dribble, and a good sign, I think, for the Celtics. The fact that he's putting on the floor, trying to go by people, he must feel pretty good today.
Pippen over Gamble. Yes. Scottie Pippen had some difficulties playing on the road for the most part earlier in the season, but he has been breaking out away from Chicago recently. Bird again. He appears to have the rhythm.
And you can see the ball coming out of his hand today. It has that real good rotation that Bird gets when he's shooting well.
4-point Chicago lead. Celtics doing a nice job on Jordan, and he turns it over.
What they're doing is they're dropping off the perimeter people right now, not really attacking or double teaming Jordan, just kind of going back halfway. When he puts it on the floor, then they start to run at him.
Bird worked off the pick. Goes to the left hand. He thought he was pushed. Larry Bird staring at the official, Joe Forte. Here's Jordan. They have carried it.
Oh!
And the foul call.
Very, very few players can get in the air like Michael Jordan, be looking in one direction, understanding that's where he wants to pass off to his right. There, realize that, you know what, there's somebody else over on the left. He wants to go right, but instead, at the last second, that's hang time.
Foul called on Bird. Grant only a 69% free throw shooter. He's 2 for 3 from the line. Horace Grant, Bulls' best overall rebounder. He is the pride and joy of the Chicago Bulls' strength and conditioning coach Al Verheul. Horace has given himself a new upper body this season.
I've tried to give myself a new body. Nothing works.
Lewis, and he's hit from behind. Michael Jordan agreeing with the call.
And Michael Jordan, one of the best in the league at going behind a player's head and swipe.
And you fellows in Atlanta did have some success against Jordan. As I recall, you try to go at him in a physical way.
Well, one of the things we tried to make him do was at the defensive end of the floor for the Bulls, make Jordan work at chasing our shooters. At that time, Randy Whitman off a number of screens. And we had guys like Tree Rollins, Kevin Willis, Wilkins that were going after headhunting, trying to set solid screens, make him work at the other end.
Mike McGee was a man who played Jordan for the Atlanta Hawks, and I know as Paxson hits again. Paxson on fire, 3 out of 4, and a 6-point Chicago lead. Jordan was not thrilled at the sight of McGee, who did play him very physical.
Mike McGee was very strong, very physical. He would chase you all over the floor, work real hard, and was relentless, not worrying about his fouls, knowing his minutes were going to be limited.
And Bird came up short. Here comes Pippen. Bulls doing it off the boards in second chance opportunities. And again Jordan turns it over. An erratic start for Michael Jordan with 2:42 to go in this.
He's got the ball, which forces him to give the ball to the open man. So far, the Bulls have been hitting the open jump shots. Let's see if that continues towards the end of the game.
Okay, let's go back to the American commentators.
We'll be talking with Charles Barkley, a man very much in the news these days.
Charles is honest. One thing he is, he's honest.
Yes, he does say what's on his mind, which can be good and bad. And Larry Bird with 8 points, 4 out of 8 from the field. 4-point Chicago lead. Both clubs remaining the same following that timeout. Here's Jordan. Well, Michael Jordan now 1 for 5 from the field, and he's settling for jump shots.
One of the things that as the guy playing Jordan, you would hope he does all night. Just stay out there, keep shooting jumpers.
Just under 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Lewis attempting to post up Jordan. Here's Shaw over Paxson. His second field goal. He has 4, 26-24, Chicago. Paxson working off the pick. And Bird gets to the rebound. Here's Gamble for Shaw. Parrish setting the pick up high. Cartwright able to jump out. And it led to the steal by Paxson. Alley-oop. Overthrown. Pippen on the save. But he stepped out. And got a couple of photographers in the process.
The lob pass just wasn't in a situation or a position whereby he could catch and get a shot off at the same time. The angle just wasn't right that time for Pippen.
To go, first quarter. Bird with the step and hit from behind. Larry Bird will go to the line. Grant
showed us 2 strong moves off the dribble to the basket. He knows he's got the player on his back, just kind of pulls up short, stops, and he knows he's pretty good from the foul line, by the way.
Although he's missed a couple of the last 2 games, including an important shot against Miami on Thursday night.
Well, he is shooting slightly over 88%.
Boston, in uncharacteristic fashion, has had difficulties at the foul line. They're still number 1 in the NBA, 83%. On Friday night, they missed 7 against Cleveland. They were 14 for 21 from the line. Here's Jordan going left and rejected by Lewis.
That's interesting. A guy gets his shot blocked and gets an ovation from the crowd. It's like never supposed to happen to Michael Jordan.
Parrish unleashes. And it will be Chicago ball.
You're not talking about a guy who's real small and doesn't have long arms and good athleticism here. Lewis, around 6'7", can extend, get up, and actually Jordan was shooting that one on the way down. A little pump in there.
B.J. Armstrong, who has played very well, giving the Bulls a lift off the bench, has replaced John Paxson. Here's Jordan. Michael Jordan with only his second field goal. The Bulls take a 2-point lead, and we are down to 10 seconds left, first quarter. 5 seconds. Lewis. Yes. Just did beat the buzzer. Reggie Lewis throws it home, and the game is sitting down, and the crowd reacting to the return of Kevin McHale. He's missed the last 6 games with a sprained left ankle. He's had all kinds of ankle problems. So Kevin McHale gets a rousing ovation. The rookie D. Brown has checked in for the first time. Here's Pippen, and he's turned back by McHale. Brown was looking for Gamble, but the Bulls able to recover.
Just one of the things that McHale gives this team besides scoring down low, the post-up game, is block shots.
And McHale draws the foul.
McHale is 8th in the NBA in block 2.5 a game. Those long arms, you think you're going to be able to get it over the top, but he gets up and extends so quickly.
Foul charge to Scottie Pippen, his first. Well, the Celtics have hit their first 4 from the line, trying to bounce back. And Kevin McHale, usually a solid free throw shooter, not able to hit on his first. We were chatting with Chris Ford about the foul shooting difficulty yesterday at practice and asked if he'd talk about it. He said no, because it just gives the guys even more negative ideas. So he hopes it's just a matter of concentration, because he knows this is a very fine free throw shooting ball club.
If you understand what your team is all about, as Grant faces up and misses a shot, you know that eventually they're going to return to what is the norm for them. This team is number 1 in the league. They'll get back making them.
McHale. And Gamble gets to it. Will Perdue has checked in for the first time, replacing Bill Cartwright, so he is now matched with Robert Parrish. Lewis trying to post up Craig Hodges, who just came on. Gamble. Pippen did not go for the pump fake. Here's Brown. Yes. And Boston leads by 3. Let's go over to Ahmad.
All right, Marv, during that last time out, Chris Ford said he wants to offensively keep pushing the ball up, and defensively, every time Michael Jordan puts the ball on the ground, they want to try to double it.
And they have done a nice job against Michael Jordan, who is getting a rest. B.J. Armstrong able to connect on his first field goal attempt. Celtics lead 31-30 with a minute and a half gone by in the second. Both clubs shot well in the first quarter, over 50%. Grant on the box out. Hodges and Armstrong in the backcourt. Grant up front with Pippen and Purdue. Loose ball foul, and it's against the Celtics. Crowd reacts to Ed Pinckney, who has played exceptionally well as of late. Wild pass, misfired by Armstrong. Here's Gamble. Well, the Celtics cashing in on the turnover.
Some of those easy scores, transition baskets, which the Celtics have not been getting. And Bird's point was, our defense has been pretty good. It's the fact we're not scoring, just making shots. That certainly helps you right there.
Boston by 3. Armstrong gets it back out. Here's Hodges from three-point land. And Brown finds Gamble. Celtics with their biggest lead of the game. It's 35-30 with 3 minutes gone by in the second.
There's the answer to your question before. The crowd is back when they get a couple of easy scores, long touchdown passes, as I call it. That gets them excited.
Celtics in the midst of a 15-4 run. Pippen was blocked. He will go to the
lane and see those big white shirts coming at you. You have a tendency to want to give it up. Obviously, a very simple pass is all the coach needs. Otherwise, when the shooter's defensive player runs out, you're going to get some of these long passes down the floor.
Pocket to a defensive teammate so that you can start the fast break.
And he's having a tremendous second quarter here. Just come on, though.
He has. I mean, he'd been out there not even 10, 15 seconds. He's blocked a shot and got 2 points. He is a force around the basket that the Celtics have to have if they're going to be a factor in the game.
And they haven't lost anything by Bird going on the bench.
Not at all. I mean, remember, McHale's been a 7-time All-Star, Bird's been an 11-time All-Star, and the Chief's been a 9-time All-Star. All 3 of them can play forward. They're very versatile.
Okay, let's go back to the American commentators.
free throw line. He was sent to the line on the foul committed by Kevin Gamble. And now here is some pressure by the Bulls. D. Brown took the hit from B.J. Armstrong.
Still not the full court trapping press that Chicago uses occasionally after free throws. This one, full court, man-to-man pickup, put a little pressure and help out with that big guy that took it out of bounds initially.
Brown and Lewis at the guards. Pinckney with Gamble and McHale up front. McHale being guarded by Grant. Lewis trying to post up. And Gamble is wide open. Pinckney off the board. Ed Pinckney on Friday night against Cleveland had one of his best games as a pro. 7 for 7, 19 points, 14 rebounds, and the crowd chanting Eddie, Eddie right throughout. Will Purdue cuts it to a 3-point Celtic lead.
Pinckney said he got into one of those games where when he was above the rim, he seemed like he was the only one there. It was easy, he said that night.
Lewis. McHale missed the tip, and Purdue gets to it. Hodges trying to spot up for the 3. Pippen is fouled. He was hacked. Villanova upset win over Georgetown for the national championship.
Maybe they should just lie to him and tell him it's his birthday every week.
Scottie Pippen is high man. He now has 12 points, and Boston has a 37-36 lead. Brian Shaw is back, so it is Shaw and Brown at the guards. Pinckney with McHale and Gamble up front. McHale and Purdue able to get to it. Crowd looking for a goaltend. Armstrong with Brown falling down. P.J. Armstrong going glass to give the Bulls a 1-point lead.
Armstrong really can knock out open shots, shooting 50% from the floor, almost 52 from the three-point line as D. Brown knocks down a long J.
P.J. Armstrong telling us yesterday he really got a kick out of playing here at the Boston Garden on the parquet floor for the first time a year ago as a rookie. Said it looks real nice on television, but it's not one of his favorite places to play. Never know. We were talking about dead spots, kidding him out earlier, but he never knew what would.
See many of the veteran guards come out before the game and just kind of go up and down with the basketball to see how everything feels that particular game night or game afternoon.
Boston with a 1-point lead. McHale. Kevin McHale with his first field goal. Celtics 41 and Chicago 38.
If you're going to double McHale, you have to get him a little bit quicker. Otherwise, he's going to split the double team or just shoot over the top of a smaller Grant.
Will Perdue taking a couple of steps and then lost it. Got away with a travel. And a timeout being taken.
Here he comes, fake right, go left. One dribble, concentration, possibility for a three-point play. Kevin McHale doesn't quite agree.
Yes, Kevin has Jordan to the line for the first time. Players around the NBA tell me they do not want to be, as they say, posterized. Always a fear in defending against Michael Jordan. That'll make a spectacular move that will be captured by a photographer that will end up on a Jordan poster for posterity. That might have been a posterized move a moment ago. D. Brown gives Boston a 43-41 lead. 5:10 remaining, first half. I think Armstrong surprised to find himself so open.
Came down the floor, nobody was playing him. At first he said, no, this can't be right. And they said, well, I'm open, I'll just shoot it.
Game is tied at 43. Now Bird going to work on Cliff Livingston, who just checked in and made it look very easy.
When Livingston played for the Atlanta Hawks, we would have problems with Cliff on the floor against the Boston team. Whether he played Bird or McHale or Parrish for some reason on a switch-off, they would immediately post Cliff. I felt you always needed two of your 7-footers on the floor against them.
Why would he have problems against the Celtics?
Well, with Wilkins, who played the small forward spot, it made Livingston the big forward, power forward, and there's just too much size in favor of the Celtics against him.
Gorgeous move by Brown, but not able to hit. Bulls with the numbers. Armstrong with a hesitation dribble that might have been a walk. Got away with it. Wild flurry, and it leads to a foul called
To the free throw line.
on the line with Boston over the foul limit. Livingston only a 62% free throw shooter. Chicago Bulls with a record of 53-17. That is the best record in the NBA. They've won 11 of the last 13. They've taken 2 of 3 against the Celtics this season, and both victories in blowout fashion. Game is tied at 45. Brown attempting to put the move on Armstrong, kicked it out. Chicago trying to catch the Celtics napping. Hodges from downtown. And here comes Shaw. Brown on the wing. Well, Cartwright started to challenge and then held back.
Larry Bird started to complain at the other end of the floor that he was pushed on the rebound. Then he turned around and realized it was his teammate who had shoved him out of the way to get the ball.
Boston 47 and Chicago 45. Down to 4 on the 24. Jordan. And again had it deflected. There's Shaw right at Armstrong. Lewis on the follow. Boston by 4.
That's part of the difference in these new Celtics. The athleticism with the young guys. When you miss one in transition, they're right there to follow back up and in, running the floor hard. Watch the one extended arm, 2 extended arms. It gets Jordan to pull the ball back down again. He's not releasing the jumper at the top.
Scottie Pippen is back. Bulls with 15 on the shot clock.
Those extended hands, by the way, are part of what helps them lead the league in field goal percentage by opponents being so low.
Cartwright changed his mind. He was in a crowd. And back come the Celtics. Here's Shaw. Hit by Armstrong. Going for the strip, but called for the foul.
And I think, again, that's giving Chicago some problems because they're having to make some adjustments up front with the big...
And in fact, nice response to the one question of, well, then, if you don't want us to write about your injuries, so we just say you're playing poorly? And yeah, I can live with that. Okay, I'm playing poorly. So they wrote it. He's playing poorly.
Yes, Ryder posed that question to Bird after practice yesterday, and he has been struggling. Has not been a good period for Larry Bird. Boston by 5 with 2.5 remaining in the first half. Livingston guarded by Bird. Livingston up front with Cartwright and Pippen. Jordan and Paxson in the backcourt. Shot clock is down to 2. And D. Brown on the rebound. Brown and Shaw at the guards. Bird, Parrish, Gamble up front. Bird one-on-one with Livingston.
He backs him down, gets to the point where he's comfortable with the shot and then knows that he can shoot over the top. But on the other side, it's chemistry, just finding the right group on the floor that can turn things around. Since Livingston's come on, the Bulls have played well.
Biggest lead of the game for Boston, a 7-point margin. Pippen had the open shot. Paxson.
And Bird is down the other end of the floor. They can just get it out in time. Bad bounce for the Celtics coming out of the net.
And the Bulls did race back on the transition. Minute and a half to go in this first half. Celtics lead by 5. Again, Bird goes to work on Livingston. Livingston gets help. Bird kept the rebound alive, and then Parrish drew the foul.
In those situations when Larry's going to...
Chatting with Robert yesterday, he told us this is his best year health-wise. Now, he's 37 years old. He is the oldest player in the NBA. I asked him how old does he feel basketball-wise. He said 30. I'll buy that. Boston by 6.
Now, 1 year left on the Chiefs' contract, by the way.
Here's Jordan. Cartwright on the follow, stopped by Parrish. And Bird lost it.
Bill Cartwright felt that he was hit on the arm that time from behind. Obviously distorted his, what we would consider to be a layup.
That last play actually a pass to himself once he released the ball, and that's why Chicago gets it back. Here it is. Put it on the floor and then stopped the dribble and then tapped it. So it is a turnover.
Show me your diversity by knowing the rules so
Thank you so much. 45 seconds to go, first half. Celtics with the ball, lead by 6. Bird gets inside. Well, Brown tried to sneak behind Pippen. Cartwright one-on-one. And Boston will hold for a final shot. 15 seconds left. The Bulls, meanwhile, 1 for their last 12. They've gone cold. Boston's defense has been very tough. Final seconds. Here's Shaw. And it was stopped by Jordan. He bottled him up. Terrific defensive play. Talking with Charles Barkley of the Sixers.
.220 is drafted in the first round of 1978, and really in the 80s he has been, along with Magic Johnson, the best all-around basketball player in the NBA. He's got 3 championships, he's got 2 MVP titles, 3 MVP titles, 2 most valuable playoff award titles. I guess you're looking at what now most people would say is the consummate forward in basketball. A great passer, a good rebounder, and obviously a great clutch shooter.
And the man who wants to take his throne is, of course, Michael Jordan.
Well, certainly the most exciting basketball player probably we've ever seen. He does things that no other human being has physically tried to do. He's got phenomenal hang time, and he's just a great athlete. If you were going to build a prototype basketball body, there he is, 6'6", 198 pounds. And he's very, very quick with it. He thinks the game. He's got good range on his jump shot. And defensively, remember, he was Defensive Player of the Year 2 years ago. So as an all-around athlete, you're looking at probably the prototype guard in basketball.
And they used to stay play of the second half, no basket scored. Let's go back, John, our American commentator's three-point attempt, and he makes it.
And that with only 3 remaining on the shot clock. Boston 53, Chicago 50.
Excellent patience by the Bulls. They had a switch that time, and Cartwright had a much smaller man playing him. Instead, they reversed it back to the top.
Scottie Pippen only a 22% shooter from downtown. Grant over Bird, yes. It is now a 1-point Celtic lead.
We'll see if the Bulls are making a conscious effort to go at Bird at the defensive end of the floor, saying that he was a little bit too involved in the first half offensively and rebounding. Reggie
Lewis on a quick release. 10 points for Lewis, and the Celtics by 3. Reggie Lewis playing with a bad back. Paxson with a three-pointer. So they've come out firing here in the third quarter. John Paxson is a good long-range shooter. And the Celtics turn it over.
The swings and momentum in the game of basketball come so quickly. A couple open shots that teams knock down. You come down and turn it over one time, and suddenly a 5, 6, 7-point lead vanishes.
Bulls open up with an 8-2 run here in the early moments of the third. The game is tied at 55. Nice spin by Paxson. Campbell has Parrish. Good play by Pippen. The leg block gives the Bulls a new 24, but he avoided the easy 2.
Easy score that time for Parrish underneath if he doesn't get that leg out there.
Lewis again with room. Reggie Lewis has hit 5 out of 7. He was a question mark going into today. Chris Ford not certain whether he'd be able to play. Cartwright. Here's Grant whipping by Parrish. Played him very tentatively, and Grant took advantage. Game tied at 57. Grant not giving Bird any room. Bird was looking to step back. Shaw. Oh, nice reverse English employed by Brian Shaw. Celtics 59, Bulls 57. Here's Jordan. Cartwright with a good interior pass, and Grant was fouled by Parrish. For Parrish. His second.
It's got to be a good sign for the Celtics. Down inside, have a guard like Shaw post his man, bring it up around the other side, and score down low. Gives him a lot of people to post. Chief gets a piece, but on the second attempt, there's the foul.
And the Bulls within 1. Chicago 12 for 13 from the foul line. Horace Grant comes off a good one against the Bullets Friday night. 22 points, 13 rebounds. And the game is tied at 59.
With Michael Jordan being basically out of this game so far to this point, you still have a tie basketball game. Phil Jackson has to be very encouraged. One of the things you fear is to be close to Chicago coming down the stretch, knowing they have Michael Jordan.
Yes, Jordan only 3 for 12, 7 points. Parrish. And he comes up holding the left ankle, and he hobbles. Robert Parrish has had difficulty with both ankles during
Illegal
the course
defense,
of the season.
right there, they catch it. You cannot double team a...
In the third, Celtics with a 2-point lead. A good play by Lewis to front Jordan.
came around for the steal, got an arm in there. He knew he was caught that time, so he took a shot and gambled, came up with the steal.
Here's Bird. Yes. He was met on a switch by Jordan, and there was no hesitation.
Exactly. The quick catch and shoot that we had mentioned earlier in the game, something that Chris Ford seems to feel is the key in knowing whether or not he's loose for each particular game.
Bulls down by 4. Now Shaw chest to chest with Jordan. Beats him off the dribble and gives it out. Paxson. Yes. Paxson continues his good shooting. He has 13. Celtics by 2.
The difference between Jordan and so many of the superstars, when they are doubled and triple teamed, they still try to score on their own. He will give it up. He is an unselfish player. Now his teammates have to make open shots.
Parrish for Gamble. Yes.
Another example of playing unselfish basketball. Patience. Bird looking for Parrish. Parrish seeing Gamble go around backdoor. Kicks it out at the last second.
Celtics lead 65-61. Boston has hit its last 6 field goal attempts after the good start by Chicago here in the third. Here's Jordan swinging in. Michael Jordan. 9 points for Jordan, who, as we mentioned at the start, has killed the Celtics up here in Boston. Over his career, averaged better than 36 per game at the Boston Garden. Not the case thus far. And Cartwright called for the block.
That's too good a play. You know, it's as sooner or later, this guy's capable of putting 30 points on the board in a quarter, so you know he's overdue.
Okay, let's go back, join the American commentators.
And not getting any calls.
Mike, what are they doing against Jordan that has been so effective?
Well, they did spend time yesterday putting in, let's call them the Celtics rules for Michael Jordan. A little bit different than they've played him in the past, as Larry Bird strokes another jump shot. Last 2 games against him, they felt that Jordan had wrecked the team, so they went over specific things they wanted to do on certain areas of the floor against Michael Jordan, and so far, seems to be working.
Earlier this season, he did have a 41-point performance against Boston. What specifically are they doing?
I was sworn to secrecy once again. They just decided who's going to do the double teaming, where they're going to come from. Are they going to double all the time, or tip in with the drive, transition basketball, get those easy scores for the Bulls? They're just trying to make it clear to the other players on the team when you're going after them, when you're not, and who's coming, how you treat post-ups, how you treat pick and rolls.
Why would it work here today? It hasn't worked in the past.
Because I think in the past, they basically went with the philosophy
Association and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the NBA. 5.5 to go in the third. Boston by 2. Jordan with a rare open shot.
One of the few times that he's been standing by himself, could catch a pass. And you know, sometimes in timeouts you need to remind the team, hey guys, you need to do a little better job of screening so we can get Michael open for some open shots, because they're being very aggressive with him.
The game is tied at 67. Parrish off the head fake beats Cartwright. Oh! Robert Parrish with a baseline move, whipping by Bill Cartwright. Boston 69, Chicago 67. Jordan eluding a triple team.
Michael really wanted to get that shot off that time because he had made the previous one. He wants to see if he can get himself on a little roll.
Gamble off a gorgeous pass from Bird. Terrific basketball end-to-end. Boston 71 and Chicago 69. 4.5 left in the third. Grant took a shot inadvertent from Bird. He's playing with the prescription goggles, which have worked well, but he was poked.
Bird trying to move him out of the post area. 2 cutters go now. Bird trying to reach over to deflect the ball. Just gets a little piece of the head.
Now Reggie Lewis uptight on Michael Jordan. And it's an offensive, or is it a travel? Let's see. Traveling violation.
Michael Jordan has such a great first step, but this one, he takes a few too many, in the official's opinion.
Yes, moving both feet at the same time. A no-no. the double. Parrish returns it to Shaw. And the Bulls in the open floor. Jordan with the save for Pippen. Rebound, Pippen. Oh, he blew the start. Reggie Lewis. Larry Bird.
To Mullen. Oh, what a shot!
Fantastic.
Barkley, another rebound.
Charles behind his back. Unbelievable.
Fantastic.
Hodges out with it, 14 seconds. Craig allowed the pivot. Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. Here it comes for Sloopy on the run. He's got packs in the bank.
You gotta love it. NBA action, it's fantastic.
Series. That would be the best series in basketball, I think, in the first round.
Okay, well, let's go back, join the American commentators as they talk about some of the action. Just before we do that, though, it has to be said, the Celtics are playing one intensive game out there.
Well, certainly the level of intensity the last 6 times down the floor has been completely different than the rest of the game, and I think they've started to kind of step up the level, as has Michael Jordan. You know, I said to you earlier that sooner or later, the guy's got to turn up a notch, and you know he is. He's too great a player not to.
Okay, let's go back to the American commentators as the foul's committed.
Second.
That's 2 potential scores that Scottie Pippen's had. The dunk last time that didn't go in. This time, in frustration, tries to stop. Actually, his feet just give way that time, gets a piece of D. Brown. A good point, by the way, that Ahmad made there. The half-court defense of the Celtics has been so good. They've challenged and changed so many shots that what Phil Jackson is saying is, hey, let's get him in the open floor, get away from the half-court defense.
D. Brown has checked back in, as has Ed Pinckney. Here's Lewis. Nice move. Going right at Jordan, and then succeeding with the pull-up. Boston 75, Chicago 69. It's been close throughout. At one point, Celtics led by as many as 7. Jordan, yes. Well, he has located the touch. He has 15. He is 7 for 16, but he's 4 out of 5 here in the third quarter. Pinckney being given the room. Takes the return. What a recovery! Yes, and it counts.
Eddie Pinckney with the good hands there. Late pass, finds the handle, and still maintains the concentration with the opportunity now for a 3-point play.
Ed Pinckney hits 7 of 7 from the field against the Cavaliers in the victory Friday night. And he is 2 for 2 here this afternoon. Boston 78, Chicago 71. Jordan getting inside and is fouled. Michael Jordan will go to the line. Here's Kevin McHale. Parrish picked up the foul, his third.
Michael gave him 6 minutes in the first half. Could probably give him another stretch here, 5 or 6 minutes, and see how he's doing.
Will Perdue coming on now for Bill Cartwright. Cartwright only 3 points.
There's that brace that we talked about. Ahmad had showed us earlier in the game. And that thing, it's tough to jump and run with a brace such as that.
Michael Jordan, 2 for 2 from the foul line. Michael comes in leading the NBA in scoring at 30.8. And it's Boston 78, Chicago 73. McHale, guarded by Grant. Now Bird, backing Pippen, 5 of the 24. Brown fires, yes. D. Brown, the rookie from Jacksonville, has hit on 5 out of 6. He's bounced back from an 0 for 6 on Friday night. Celtics by 7. Lewis again cutting off the path to Jordan. And Bird jumping out to break it up.
Nice job of double teaming Jordan and then rotating, anticipating where the next pass was going to be by Larry Bird.
rebounded by Grant. Bird has not been looking for the three-pointers. He's been off in that department recently. Jordan had it knocked away by Bird. And again, Bird stepping in the path to help break up the play. It will be Chicago ball with 1:21 remaining in the third. Cleveland and Philadelphia tied at 68 in the third quarter. And Charlotte by 2 over Washington. There's a three. The Bulls have been hitting from long range. Paxson with his second of the day. He has 16, and it's Boston 80, Chicago 76. D. Brown. Make it 6 for 7, 12 points for Brown.
Chicago may have to change their thinking on the way they're playing D. Brown. They started out the game saying every pick and roll, every chance we could against Shaw and Brown, we're going to go underneath the screen. You got to fight over it, I think, with D. Brown. He's proven.
Free throw shooter Phil Jackson telling us last night that he has been satisfied with the work of Will Perdue as of late. There's B.J. Armstrong. John Paxson departs. He's been a major factor. 7 for 11, 16 points. Will Perdue in his third season out of Vanderbilt. Earlier this year, he complained about lack of playing time. Misses both free throws, and Boston with a 6-point lead and 40 seconds to go in the third. Now Brown being guarded by Armstrong, got picked off, and Brown hits again. D. Brown weaving his way for the bucket. He now has 14. Boston by 8, and the foul call. That's number 4 on McHale.
D. Brown feels it right now. He gets it going that time, hits the little floater, moving into the lane. Here's the drive to the basket by Pippen. He goes strong here. McHale just as strong, challenging the shot.
Scottie Pippen will shoot a pair. He's a 67% free throw shooter. 18 for Pippen. B.J. Armstrong telling us he feels the major difference between this year's Bulls and last year, the fact that Pippen last year was an average NBA player. He is now an all-star, and that has helped to lift this club.
He's stepped up his productivity. The team has stepped up the number of games that they've won, and he's also stepping up his contract negotiations.
Yes, he is. He was dissatisfied about the way things were going earlier, but it looks like they're closing in on making a new deal. Reggie Lewis continues the hot Boston shooting. Final seconds of the third. Celtics by 8. Pippen beating Pickney. Here's Armstrong getting it off. After 3, the Celtics hear it from the crowd. They lead. He now has 17, and the Celtics burning it up 16 for 22 in the third. Not that the Bulls shot badly. D. Brown brings it across against B.J. Armstrong. Bird up front with McHale and Pinckney. Lewis beating Hodges. Greg Hodges played briefly in the first half. He and Armstrong at the guards, and now Jordan is playing at a forward position, and he's posting up on Brown.
Exactly. Phil Jackson trying to shake things up right here with a different Jordan trying to post up down the low block here. Good job of D. Brown of rooting him out, getting him away from the paint.
Rooting him out.
Yes, coaching terminology. As the year goes on, you'll pick up all the lingo.
Thank you very much, Mike. Very tough today. Grant called for that last foul. And off the reject, here comes Jordan. Now met by Bird. And he drew the foul. Off the head fake, Larry Bird.
Jordan got him in the air with the pump fake, drew the foul.
Correction, that number 3 on Bird. 3 apiece on Bird and Gamble. Michael Jordan with his usual exploits, leading the NBA at 30.8, third in steals, among the leaders in field goal percentage. Celtics 80, Boston. Well, Larry Bird with 20 points to lead the Celtics, and Michael Jordan heating up in the second half. And they are now matched, which is most unusual. Here's Brown. He's been on fire. Yes, and it counts.
When you got it going, you get all the roll.
Strong call for the foul, his third. D. Brown, 17 points. He is 8 for 10 from the field. And the Celtics lead 89-80. Here's Jordan. And McHale gets to it. Pinckney for McHale.
Excellent feed by Eddie Pinckney. Turned in the lane to make his move.
To the action quickly. Boston with the 11-point advantage. Michael Jordan now being guarded by Ed Pinckney. And Michael Jordan with 21. Celtics lead at 91-82. 2 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter.
Here comes the post-up now of Bird against Jordan.
Goes to the hook. Well, the Bulls claiming offensive interference, but the basket counts. It's Ed Pinckney once again.
Pinckney got that long arm there. Their complaint, the Bulls, was that the ball was still on the rim when he tipped it in.
D. Brown off that Bulls turnover. McHale for three. Three-pointer for Kevin McHale. He'll take it. The Bulls may be beginning to get the idea this is not their day.
Kevin McHale now 12 for 34 from the three-point line, shooting over 33%. He likes shooting that three-pointer.
He has discovered the joys of long-range shooting this season. In the past, he did not look to shoot from downtown. That was number 4 on Larry Bird.
I think he started his three-point assault in that playoff series against Detroit a few years back.
B.J. Armstrong cuts it. So the Celtics opening it up. 9-10 remaining in the fourth. And it's Boston with a 12-point advantage. John Paxson has been hot, getting set to return. Pippen getting a piece of it. 10 on the 24. Here comes Pack Sawgrass. Paul Azinger, the leader, after a third-round 69 yesterday. He's at 12 under 204. That's one stroke in front of Fuzzy Zeller. Here's Pippen. Oh, spectacular move by Scottie Pippen. He has 21, and the Celtics lead at 96-86. Timeout being taken by Boston. 8:35
Giving them some of that transition game they so sorely need.
Okay, let's go back, join the American commentators.
We do not know the severity of that injury, so Barkley sidelined. Michael Jordan puts the move on Reggie Lewis and gets the roll. 23 for Jordan, who's come on in the second half.
He only made that shot over the top of 4 players that time.
D. Brown with a long stint. He has played very well. Here's Lewis. Oh! Pippen lost it. Pinckney with a good play. Ed Pinckney continues to excel.
And it's 1, 2, 3, and even 4 coming over. Still pretty tough.
Here's Lewis. Jordan went for the strip. And back comes Pippen.
And then a nice rotation by Grant, also challenging the shot.
Scottie Pippen brings Chicago within 6. 8 consecutive points by the Bulls, and the Celtics take a timeout.
Jordan goes for the steal, misses, but now watch Grant get the arm out, extend, makes him miss the open shot.
7:39.
And only contain him. You know, you really can contain him for so long before he bursts out. He's too great an athlete.
Okay, let's go back, join the American commentators.
That is his 4th. He is the only Bull in foul trouble. Larry Bird has 4, as does Kevin McHale. Lewis double team. Celtics back to Shaw and Lewis in the backcourt. Bird up front with Gamble and Parrish. Chris Ford back to his starting lineup. 8 on the shot clock. Bird for 3. Larry Bird from downtown. He now has 23. He's opened up a 9-point lead.
Defensive mistake that time by Grant. With the clock running down, that's the time to crowd, Larry. Make him beat you off the dribble in the late stages with the clock down.
His first 3-pointer of the day. Grant, yes, 99-92 Celtics. Grant has 15, 6:45 remaining in the 4th. Bird, quick release.
And Grant up just a little bit closer that time, challenging the shot. He said, no more easy ones.
Jordan, yes. Michael Jordan has 25. He had 7 at the half. It's a 5-point Boston lead. Shaw. Oh, it's a jump shooting exhibition. And the Celtics lead 101-94. Jordan backing Lewis. Paxson. Get it! And back come the Celtics.
Little 2-man basketball now, pick and roll.
And the good play by Paxson, tying up Shaw.
Paxson saw him holding that ball out in front and said, wait a minute, before I get knocked off here by Larry Bird's screen, I'm going to get my hands in there and get a piece of this. You put it out in front, he'll take it. Maybe take a little bit of the wrist with it, but the idea is good.
Celtics control the tap. Good luck by Bird at the goaltend. Purdue slapping it aside. It will count. Reggie Lewis getting credit for the field goal.
You shake that guy free underneath. Larry Bird's going to find him. Purdue taking it off the glass. 2 points.
Celtics lead by 9. Paxson.
What they're doing is keeping Jordan in the middle of the floor, trying to get the defense to collapse from the wing so he opens up his teammates for the 3. Just like that.
Did not have the room in that first opportunity, but then able to bury it. So John Paxson has 19. He's hit 3 from downtown. 103-97 Boston. Lewis able to answer. 20 points for Reggie Lewis, who, as we mentioned earlier, was a question mark for today because of a bad back. Here's Jordan. Yes, Michael Jordan with the pure penetration. Celtics 105, the Bulls 99.
Nice adjustment by Phil Jackson, getting Jordan live in the middle of the floor with the basketball. Give him a little bit different look for the Celtics. Their defense knew what they wanted to do when he was posting.
Parrish forced into that difficult shot. Here's Jordan giving it up. Pippen. It is a 4-point Boston lead. Scottie Pippen has 25. So once again, the Bulls have come roaring back. We approach 4 minutes remaining in the 4th. Bird, yes. Larry Bird has the Celtics. The Bulls call for time.
4 seconds left to play, and just 6 points in the ball game. We're talking about Michael Jordan. Let's go hear what they're saying.
In either direction, trying to bring in these defensive wings, opening up shots for his teammates, and that's what they've done. Last 5 times down the floor, Jordan with the ball in the middle, trying to pull that wing in, just a little bit of help, spot up the shooter, and he just can't recover in time. Paxson knocks down a 3.
He is, ladies and gentlemen, the czar of the telestrator. An unbelievable man.
Talented.
So Jordan with 27 and Bird with 25. Larry Bird with a terrific all-around performance. Timeouts remaining. Chicago with 2 and a 20. Celtics 2 and a 20 with just under 4 minutes to go. In this fourth quarter, shot clock is down to 5. Jordan, that was 2-point range. Loose ball foul. The outside official, Ed Rush, calling it on Boston. It's on Parrish. That's 3. Jordan posting up. And the foul on Lewis. Now they have
Off the other side of the floor. Back again out of the middle that time.
Jordan trying to go glass. Cartwright. Bill Cartwright with only a second field goal. That's a big one. It cuts it down to 4 with 3:10 remaining in the fourth quarter. Bird off the dribble, way off. And here comes Pippen out of the pack. Good transition by the Celtics. And Jordan will set it up. Lost the dribble off his foot. Good recovery by Paxson. Pippen changed his mind. And now shoots. And hits a three-pointer for Scottie Pippen, his second of the day. He has 28. And the Bulls within 1.
And notice again, the Bulls went back to Michael Jordan, starting that whole play off from the middle of the floor. It's really hurt the Celtics defense.
Shaw will not count. Offensive foul, says Mike Mathis. Used his elbow to set up.
Shaw thinks he's big enough. He just wants to get in the right spot to shoot it.
Bulls in possession. Now down by 1. Celtics have led by as many as 14. Jordan off the double pump. Found Grant. Last touch by the Celtics. Celtics were headed up the floor. The officials check it out. And it will be Chicago ball.
Again, Jordan, when he elevates and can see down inside and find a teammate, so tough to play.
Down to 3 on the 24. Down to 2. And Jordan gets it off. Oh, what a save by Pippen. And they get the new 24. A minute 50 to go in the fourth. Pippen in on Alicia.
Robert Parrish jumped out that time, switched on to Pippen, and then he just took him off the dribble as he should. Great hustle here by both teams. Pippen catches it one hand, at the same time turns and looks for who he's going to pass it to.
Robert Parrish committing number 5, and the Celtics are over the limit. The Bulls have a foul to give. Pippen is 6 for 6 from the line, and the game is tied at 107. Scottie Pippen, who each year has improved his offensive output, now has 30 points. The Bulls take a 1-point lead. They have come from 14 down, looking to make it 3 out of 4 over the Celtics this season.
Floor, and they have caused Boston some adjustment problems. Defense, certainly D. Brown hasn't been on the floor, so it's prime time now. What you'll find, Mike, is that the great players will turn up.
Okay, let's see what they do. The last minute and a half, the American commentators.
Got it knocked away. Scottie Pippen with the defensive play to break it up.
And that's the kind of gamble you can take, knowing that if they call it a foul when you reach around, they still just get it back out on the side.
Oh, look out, Jordan. Strangled by Pinckney.
Pippen knows he can gamble and try and smack it from behind. If a foul is called, all they're going to do is take it out on the side. Instead, they come up with a steal. Jordan, seeing he's got a big guy switching out, just turns the corner, takes him to the basket.
Jordan is 5 for 5 from the line. So he has turned it after the 7-point first half. He was only 3 for 11 from the floor in that first half. Kevin McHale returns. And Ed Pinckney will sit down. This is a matchup of the top two teams in the Eastern Conference. Chicago 53-17, and the Bulls have the best overall record in the NBA. Boston at 51-20. That's their best record since the 86-87 season. And Mike, despite the success of the Bulls, their players feel they don't get the proper respect, in particular from the Indiana Pacers, who have been talking trash.
All they have to do is pick up the newspaper every day and see who's up on top, and that should be enough to satisfy them.
Cartwright on the rebound of the Lewis miss. Chicago Bulls down by as many as 14 with the ball and a three-point lead. Here's Jordan. Jordan on the rebound. Bird tried to tie him up, and Jordan stepped out. Oh, let's see. They indicate, no, a timeout call. Michael Jordan wisely calling for time. He was to catch. That's next, right here on NBC. 54 and 4/10 seconds to go in this fourth quarter. Chicago Bulls with 11 wins their last 13 games. Boston Celtics have struggled recently. They just did get by Cleveland at home on Friday, lost in Miami on Thursday. And the Celtics hit by numerous injuries in recent weeks. Down to 10 on the shot clock. Jordan, he had it deflected. Parrish on the rebound. Boston down by 3. McHale was caught. Bird couldn't find the three-pointer. Here's McHale back to Bird for 3. Shaw able to keep it alive. Lewis from downtown.
When Larry Bird has the ball, no one can be guarding him out by the three-point line. Understanding that the difference is 3, you've got to push out on the perimeter players. You can't come out late and not extend a hand on the open shooters. You must force them to put it on the floor.
They're overplaying, but they're still trying to bring him over. Mark.
All right, Ahmad. Down to 15 seconds. Game tied, 110. Paxson, hand checked by Shaw. Jordan, top of the circle. Down to 5. Cartwright gets it to Jordan, but he couldn't hold on. Cartwright's pass
Right around the middle of the foul line area. Instead, when he got over on the sideline, that's when he tried to back up. Right here is where he can go back door. Instead, he takes a straight. There's the back cut. The pass just a little too far.
3 seconds remaining in regulation. The game is tied. Slow down the sequence as the Celtics inbound. Celtics are down to a 20-second timeout left, and the Bulls have 1 timeout remaining.
And let's keep in mind, the Celtics, as Phil Jackson takes a little look at what's going on there, he kind of feels that the Celtics were a little too physical. There's the hold he's calling for right there. He's got his arm. That's why he couldn't get away to catch the pass from Cartwright. But the Celtics understand that the Bulls have a foul to give. So they will anticipate as soon as they catch, someone's going to try to foul them. They may just try to get a shot up immediately so it's in the act of shooting.
The Chicago Bulls down by as many
Now they should be able to defend it better.
So Pippen stepped over the line. Bird couldn't find anyone. And let's see what the call is. Last touch by Chicago. Now down to 2 4/10 seconds remaining. Chris Ford reminding Larry Bird there is a 20-second timeout left. Again, they line it up. Here's McHale. Back for Bird for the game winner. We go to overtime.
Everyone held their breath. They still thought it was going to go in after it was up on the top of the glass.
Tied at 110 at the end of regulation. Larry Bird and the Celtics do not get the hop. Here's another look at it from behind the basket. He hit the rim, the high hop, but no go. On to OT, and we'll be back after these words from your local station.
Certainly, that's what's happened.
Game time for the overtime. McHale has the ball.
Old front line and the young backcourt.
Bird on the drive to the left hand. The tip by McHale. Boston by 2. Just the start of this 5-minute overtime session. Paxson and Jordan at the guards. Cartwright, Pippen, Grant up front. Jordan played well by Lewis. Illegal defense called by Boston. Bulls 25 for 28 from the foul line. Boston has been at the line only 12 times, 9 for 12.
A tough coaching decision right here for Chris Ford. Do you play D. Brown, who's had an outstanding game scoring-wise, or do you leave Shaw in there? His thinking, from what he mentioned to us yesterday, Shaw runs the team better with the old front line on the floor. That's where they're going to go right now, to those people up front for scores. I need somebody to get him the ball at the right time.
Paxson open. And the call is last touch by Chicago. Boston 112. Chicago 111. 1 minute gone by in overtime. Parrish and Cartwright pushing and shoving. Parrish. Yes. Robert Parrish giving Boston a 3-point advantage. Pippen. And it's down to 1. Celtics 114 and the Bulls 113.
I kind of forget about Robert Parrish. Just before that shot, he's 4 for 5 from the floor. He makes that one. He's 5 for 6. Very quiet game for him.
Scottie Pippen has 32. Stay right here, says Mike Mathis. The push on that man, Bill Cartwright. Spectrum 110-101. Game that saw Charles Barkley forced out with a ligament injury. Bird, he was in, but not able to convert. However, the foul called on Chicago. Some consolation by Kevin McHale.
Well, Bird just can't get the left-handers to fall for him today. He's missed a number of them. They're up on the rim, just won't go.
Brent picks up his third. Down to 3:10 remaining in this 5-minute overtime session. Eight on the shot clock. Parrish checked the clock. Parrish, yes. 2 big buckets by Robert Parrish in overtime. And he's hearing the chant of Chief from this capacity crowd. Boston 116, Chicago 113. Pippen with the step, and then rejected by Bird. Jordan was deflected short. Oh, superb defensive sequence by the Celtics.
And what the Celtics did that time, they put Kevin McHale on Pippen with those long arms. He can play off him just enough to cause some indecision whether he should shoot the three-pointer or put it on the floor. Once he put it down, the Celtics helped out.
Offensive foul on McHale. Pushing out to locate the proper position, and he is hit with number 5.
Let's take a look at McHale down low, posting up. See if he uses that arm to hold him off illegally.
5 apiece on McHale and Parrish. Bird has 4. Pippen met by Bird, rejected by McHale. It will be Chicago ball.
That's twice in a row that Pippen has tried to go by McHale, and Bird has been the teammate to help out and either get a piece or change the shot.
The Bulls with 5 on the shot clock, and they've called for a timeout. We'll be right back.
On defense, I think they can win it.
Okay, let's go join the American commentators.
4 rejections. That shows what a job he's done on Michael Jordan. Pippen for 3. And Shaw on the rebound. We're down to 1 minute and 45 remaining in overtime.
I'm not sure that Pippen realized how much time was left on the clock just then to get that one up.
Cartwright jumping out. Parrish met by Grant. Here's Bird for 3. Parrish able to get it back. Celtics with a 3-point lead with the ball. 1 minute 20 to go in overtime. Bird off the screen. Parrish. That is his 3rd field goal in overtime.
It's so hard to understand how he gets the shot off and he has such great touch and shoots 60%.
Here's Jordan, and he's hacked. Celtics arguing the call as Parrish has fouled out.
Robert Parrish is not shooting this over a small person. Bill Cartwright is a 7-footer with bulk. He's got his body up against him, and yet Parrish gets it off and keeps the concentration. At the other end, not too many of the Celtics believe there's a foul here.
Standing ovation for Robert Parrish. Leads with 15 points, 10 rebounds, 6 of the 15 here in overtime. At 37 years of age, the oldest player in the league, and perhaps his finest over a star-studded 15-year career. Ed Pinckney is 8 out of 8 from the line. 1 minute 1 remaining in overtime. Boston rest. We go to Charlie Jones and the boys right after the Bulls and the Celtics. Boston 118 and Chicago 115.
Chicago showing their press now after the made free throw. A little trap in the backcourt.
Get it down, McHale. And an Ocean changed his mind. 10 on the shot clock. 45 seconds to go in the overtime. Lewis with the step and then stripped by Jordan. McHale lost it. Here comes Pippen. Try to pull up Paxson for 3 to tie it. He does! The Bulls and the Celtics tied at 118. Boston calls for time with 32 seconds left in overtime.
All tied up. Let's just take a look at this, Alton. Tremendous, this.
Well, it all started because of Michael Jordan's defense. Scottie Pippen makes the right judgment, finds Paxson behind him, and John Paxson nails a three-pointer.
32.4 seconds. Looks like we've got 2 offenses, one each team.
Well, you got to imagine that Boston will run something for Larry Bird to get open and get a shot off, failing which their second option will be Kevin McHale. Chicago's first option will be Michael Jordan, clear out and let him do his thing.
Okay, let's go back, join the American commentators.
Overtime, 14 on the shot clock. Bird matched with Pippen. Now Grant over to help. Bird is stopped. Bird recovers, stopped again, and Cartwright able to get to it. Phil Jackson says keep going, no timeout. They'll try to win it here. Final seconds, Jordan. And Bird is fouled with 1/10 of a second remaining, but it's a non-shooting foul. It will be Celtic ball, 1/10 of a second left in overtime with the game tied at 118.
Larry Bird didn't realize that Grant was going to be there when he turned baseline. They get a piece of it. Bird just couldn't find the handle. At the end, he just hoped to get it up on the glass, knowing that McHale and Pinckney would be there to offensive rebound. Jordan trying to take it right in transition in the flow of the game, beats his guy. There come the rest of the Celtics to help. And now right here, after the save by McHale, the timeout is called.
And they have readjusted the clock. 1 1/10 second remaining in overtime.
With of this game. Sideline ball, looks like Bird's going to put it in. We better go back to the American commentators to get the end of this.
1 1/10 second left. And here it is. Bird, intended pass for the prayer. Time runs out. Only D. Brown was in sight. That is not what the Celtics had in mind.
D. Brown, that's who they're trying to throw the lob for. Pippen sees it, rotates over along with Grant. They come up, and the timeout is called.
And it's tremendous, this.
It's a great game. Certainly the best game I've seen all year. And, I mean, you know what these two teams are playing for, superiority in the East. And, you know, what's happened here is it looks like they're going to rerun the last 4/10 of a second because basically Chicago called a timeout with 4/10 of a second, and it seems like they let the clock run down. Chris Ford's a bit irate because he's saying, wait a minute, we thought it was over.
Yeah.
So they're going to rerun the last 4/10 of a second. We could have a score yet. Michael Jordan's very good at this. Remember against Cleveland in the playoffs, he made that shot, you know, in the last kind of couple of seconds right at the foul line. So this should be interesting.
4/10 of a second. You can get a shot of that quickly.
You'd be amazed the kind of shot you can get of. You don't have a lot of time to do anything other than catch it and throw it at the basket.
Yeah.
But strange things have happened.
The key is that the clock doesn't start running until the player inbound
touches the ball. That's right, Mike. And as I say, there is enough time to catch it and shoot it.
And of course, the Boston coach is not happy at all about that.
I don't think I'd be too happy either if he went back to the huddle to diagram the next overtime, and he now realizes he's got to make some defensive changes.
For that pass.
And Cartwright, after checking it out, calls for a timeout. Chicago will have, let's see, was that the final timeout? All right, final timeout taken by the Bulls. And let's see how Chicago plays it now. So Chris Ford going to the strategy. I can recall back in the remaining as the defender, Scottie Pippen now will look to throw in. 4/10 of a second. And here it is, Jordan with the play. Yes! But it's waved off. Will not count. Mike Mathis said no. Did not beat the clock.
That's a tough call right there. 4/10 of a second means you do have time to catch and shoot. Obviously, he felt that it was in his hands a little bit too long.
All right, we'll get another look at it. Whoa, it is waved off by Mike Mathis. Here it is.
Well, that ball is still in his hands. That red light is on right there. That's what you're looking for. If it's in his hands, then it has not been released yet, and the shot would not count. Everything from there looks good, except we just can't see the clock or the red light from that angle.
All right, here's a look at regular speed. You see the shot clock. Now you couldn't really see it. It ran off too quickly. So Mike Mathis said too late. And the Chicago Bulls with a mild protest and have to accept the fact that they're going into a...
Behind the backboard, you'll see that red light. If that red light is on before the ball is released, there's the red light. Ball is still in his hands. A good call by Mike Mathis.
And I think Mike would be pleased to know that it was Not that he's doubting it, but, you know, you play it back in your own mind, and I'm sure he saw it all the way, but as you say, as we take another look at it, it was the proper call.
Red light's on, the ball is in his hand, the proper call.
What a shot by Jordan. The game tied at 118. Robert Parrish has fouled out. He was the hero for the Celtics in overtime number 1 with 6 points. Scottie Pippen, the high man, with 32. Michael Jordan has 32. John Paxson with 22. Larry Bird with 25. Here's Paxson. And rebounded by Bird. A lot of minutes here this afternoon for Larry Bird. Not bad for a guy playing with a bad back and an injured finger. He has not shot well down the stretch. Either has Jordan.
It's great to hear all these coaches talk about they're really concerned as Bird hits a little fadeaway. They're really concerned about the minutes building up. They want to be fresh going into the playoffs until the game starts. Then everyone says winning becomes the most important thing. You go with your main guys, the guys that get you there.
Bird has 27. Boston by 2. Paxson. John Paxson, at the end of the first overtime, hit that clutch three-pointer that tied the game at 118. He's tied it now at 120. A minute in. Overtime number 2. Bird, yes! Larry Bird heating it up. It's Boston 122, Chicago 120.
Robert Parrish gave a little nod right there saying he got it going right now. He feels it.
Pippen lost it. Celtics with Shaw, Lewis, and Brown. So Lewis goes up front with McHale and Bird. Shaw and Brown are at the guard. Grant on Bird, off the head fake. Rebounded by Pippen. Now Pippen played by Lewis. Jordan guarded by Shaw. Here's Jordan. A spectacular attempt. Incredible that he got the shot off. Brian Shaw had it knocked away. Here's D. Brown. Yes. D. Brown has hit 9 for 11 for 19 points. Timeout called by Chicago. It's Boston by 4 points.
Here's we going back to the first overtime where Larry had a chance to win it all with a wide open shot. And there's that haunted bounce again. But I like the look of them now, certainly, Mike. They can get a good defensive series here. They'll be in good shape.
Okay, let's go join the American commentators.
4-point lead. Cartwright with the Duncan under move, and his shot was bottled up. Cartwright thought he was fouled. And the foul call. That last foul was called on Kevin McHale in a discussion with the officials. If it's on McHale, it would be number 6.
This team on the floor right now for the Celtics, it's a good team to match up against Chicago with Bird as your power forward and McHale as the center right now. McHale not agreeing who the foul was on. It lets Lewis match up against Pippen. Good matchup there in that spot.
Mike, the officials being very compassionate as McHale continued the argument. He could be hit with a technical or a delay of game.
Let's get a look right here where the foul takes place. McHale saying that actually his contact came after Larry Bird's. The foul should have gone to perhaps Bird or someone else, but not me.
Well, Bird playing with 4, and McHale sitting down. He's fouled out. Jordan is 10 for 10, and then I see the disparity of the free throws. Chicago Bulls spending lots of time at the foul line.
Celtics have 13 more field goals this game than Chicago does, but Chicago, a team with a great deal of athleticism, gets to the rim, takes people off the dribble.
Ed Pinckney has come on, replacing Kevin McHale. McHale making the return from the sprained ankle. Finished with 10 points, 6 rebounds. Jordan continues his perfection at the line. He now has 34 points. That after a 7-point first half. Boston by 2. 2:40 to go in the second overtime. Bird with the fake through the foul and hits.
building gave up on that shot, feeling, well, at least we got the whistle on the 2 free throws. Bird never gave up on the shot. After he released it, he hangs with it. He's still hanging with it. Yeah, I knew it was going.
And hits the free throw. 3-point play for Bird. Horace Grant called for the foul. Bird now has 32 points, along with 14 rebounds and 8 assists. 5-point Celtic lead. 2:20 to go. Second overtime. Bird stripped. Pippen on the recovery. And Shaw comes away with it. Here's Lewis. And he was fouled by Jordan.
In the transition defense that time, Pippen and Jordan got a little bit confused. Jordan thought Pippen was going to rotate out to stop the attack from the corner by Lewis. Instead, Pippen thought that Jordan was going to stop him. Jordan just takes the foul to stop the dunk.
Lewis now 2 for 3 from the line, an 84% free throw shooter.
Michael making sure he's not going to get a good shot at the basket.
Reggie Lewis pumping him up, did not take much time at the line.
As a result, a very good foul by Michael Jordan.
Bulls put the ball down by 5, just under 2 minutes to go in the second overtime. Jordan draws it, and he hits. Very friendly rims here at the Boston Garden.
Very similar to the play that Bird just completed at the other end. Once he got it up there, his concentration is so great, he honestly feels this thing is going in. He hangs with it, hangs with it. He's on the ground right now saying, I know this is going in.
Shaw called for his 4th. Jordan 12 for 12 from the line. He has 37, and the Bulls now within 2. Here's the reaction by Michael Jordan after he took the hit from Shaw. Minute 45 to go in the second overtime. Bird fires, yes!
Grant just kind of shook his head and said, this guy's too much.
34 for Bird. Boston by 4. Jordan off the triple team. And Bird on the rebound. The officials check it out. Last touch by Chicago, or was a foul call? It's a foul on Pippen. It will be Boston ball. Minute 27 left in the second overtime. And the chant of Larry. Lee Brown beat John Paxson off the pick. It's the Celtics by 6. And the Bulls take the timeout.
And I think he froze everybody, and then when he exploded to the basket, by that time it was too late for Grant to get across to block the shot.
How do you suggest the Bulls get this? 2 threes?
No, I think, there's 3 possessions in it if they run it properly. And as soon as I say that,
one time.
Paxson.
Okay, let's go back, join the American commentators.
Again! And Reggie Lewis called for the foul.
That whole play was set up by the defensive man going underneath the screen. Watch him go underneath. D. Brown goes under. Paxson stays behind the 3-point line. Now the opportunity for perhaps a 4.
A most unusual play, the 4-pointer, as Paxson is connected on 5 out of 5 from downtown. It's a 2-point Boston lead. 57 seconds to go, second overtime. Ryan Shaw right back. And it's Boston 133 and Chicago 129.
Larry Bird has been sensational. The Chief has been great. McHale has been good. But D. Brown and Shaw have knocked out big shots for the Celtics today.
Jordan not able to hit. Ed Pinckney able to fight his way off the board.
Got to get it over the half-court line before it's a 10-second violation.
He just did get it across. And we get the whistle. Shaw and Brown in a collision. Foul call on the Bulls.
Larry Bird realizes he's in trouble. He can't dribble it across. There's not enough time left. It's the pass that gets it there. 3 Celtics were trying to help out. 2 collide.
Foul on Paxson. Reggie Lewis to the line. He missed his last 2. And again, pumps it up. Not taking any time. Some advice from Brian Shaw. So he's missed his last 3 from the line. Boston, 134. Chicago, 129. Chicago has 1 timeout remaining. 3-point attempt by Pippen. That is his second of the day, second of the season. 2-point Celtic lead. Out of 15 seconds remaining. In the second overtime, Celtics give the foul. Jordan once again putting Lewis at the line.
And although Lewis has struggled the last couple of times that he stepped up there, he is an 84% free throw shooter on the season.
And he is now 3 for 7 at the foul line. Bulls have the 1 timeout remaining. 15 seconds to go in the second overtime. It's a 2-point lead. So the Bulls call for time. They're down by 3. When we come back, Chicago ball. They are out of timeouts.
You see the 3-point shooting that the Chicago Bulls have done, and Paxson's got to be the favorite to take it. But Pippen and Jordan and Hodges are all in the game. Hodges won the 3-point contest, so it should be interesting.
Okay, Michael Jordan on the ball. Let's go back, join the American commentators.
And here's Jordan for 3. Gets it out for Jordan. Again for 3. Time running down. 0.5 of a second remaining in the second overtime, and that will do it. Boston Celtics in double overtime have defeated the Chicago Bulls 135 to 132 in a wild one. They even up the
double overtime with 15 seconds left. Mike.